Yo, what's up? That was my last one. Okay. Like, I have so much fun with my survivor world. Like, I have so much fun, man. Like, I'm not fighting any mobs. I might fight soon. Yes, I'm a coward. And I don't have experience to fight mobs. Like last time I was decent, man, to fight mobs. No. Now I'm dog shit, man. Like last time I don't have armor on, so it takes a lot of damage, bro. It takes it takes 2.5 hearts per second. Like, oh my god, I'm dead. Like what? We're being shared already explored. And yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I think we have enough beds or we have enough stuff. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, bro. If a wolf, bro, whatever. I'm not getting a wolf no more. I don't know why. Because I'm so scared for my livestock and dead. Like, a wolf can fuck that, man. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't talk a lot. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. Huh. Alright. Alright, we got enough wolves for today. I'm farming a lot of wolves now. Oh, why? Alright, you're my supplier. Alright, you'll supply some shit. Like these ones, alright? Supply. Okay, that'll be enough. Enough gray wolves. And gray wolves are fucked. Yes. Alright, supplier. Alright. You'll supply my energy. You'll supply my wolves, alright? 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 Alright then, you supply my wolves, you'll supply my wolves, yeah? Yeah? This is my supply right now, alright? And the other one's my tools. Alright. Like, this guy is my tools. I don't know. Like, I haven't... Yeah. Yeah, I know my sugar canes get fucked, man. Like, I have enough sugar canes, like 60 or something. I don't know. Yeah. If I leave, actually, he might go away, so yeah. I never left my base, I don't know why. Well, let's build some subtractions here. Yes. Yes, indeed. Like, I need some resources right now. I have enough blocks. And I get some resources. And I have a bed so I can fucking sleep. I would feel safer at night when I come out. And yeah. Let's see my supplier, am I? Like, I know my coordinates, I don't know. How compass works, bro? I don't know, bro, how compass works. Like, I don't know how the fuck compass works, bro. Compass, bro? I don't know, bro. I don't know, boy. I don't know.
And that's when Sammy is about
Alright,
to
I don't
leave, when he
know.
sees someone sitting on the swing
Like
set
a
at the farthest part of the
little
park.
piece of the
Pretty big
information
park,
on the
but he
fuck
can
am I
look
doing?
all the way down there,
Yes, indeed.
and he sees someone in a black hoodie. But here's where things get weird. He notices that something is wrong with this person. Something is not usual. What was that thing you might be asking? Well, Sammy looked.
I'm gonna get jump scared. I don't hate this game. I like getting jump scared.
What did Sammy see exactly? He saw a blue tail, like one of those like things you get on Amazon. Like people might put on like their bags, they walk around with like a big tail or something, dressing up as a fox.
You see I'm shaking there because I'm so scared of jump scare, bro. I'm playing a lot of horror shit. Like, ooh.
Turns around.
Yeah.
And Sammy can't see like what their face really looks like because they have like sunglasses on and they have a black hoodie pulled down. But the person is very clearly walking towards Sammy. Not running towards Sammy, but walking towards Sammy. So Sammy's like, okay, this is very strange. And Sammy turns around and starts walking back to his house. And this is when Sammy starts to feel uncomfortable again because he looks to his left, right? Because now he's walking on the road back to his house. And you know how there's like one side of the sidewalk and then the other side of the sidewalk, and then there's a road in between. On the other side of the sidewalk, there's another person in a gray hoodie this time. And Sammy's like, okay, just a coincidence. And that's when Sammy takes like a quick glance at the person over on the other side, and he sees this weird pink thing dangling between their legs. Stop being weird in the comments, you guys. Don't say it. Don't say it was a tail. Anyways, there's a big like tail type thing.
Oh my god.
At this point, he's
Man,
like,
sus mode.
Nah, bro,
That's
I'm not doing this. This is way too weird. And Sammy starts to power walk. But the thing is, as Sammy starts to walk faster, these guys pick up the pace as well. Sammy's not about to run because he doesn't want to get like exhausted or something and then have to get caught by these guys because he has no idea what's going on. These also don't look like adult men. They look like kids about his age. And I mean, they have fur tails on, so they're probably not going to be like, I don't know, CEO of Apple and Microsoft secretly have furry tails on or something. But sure enough, right, Sammy's looking. And he sees like these kids, and now at this point, just so you know, the guy in the black hoodie is behind Sammy, pretty significantly far behind, but still behind him, but on his side of the sidewalk. And sure enough, right, Sammy's just like, oh my god, like what? Who? Why? Like, who is this? What could this be? And that's when Sammy remembers. That's when Sammy remembers the letter he got and couldn't figure out. He said, yeah, what was it? What was it? Wolf Brotherhood. And he looks over and he's like, I'm pretty sure wolves have tails? Maybe? He's like, you know what? This is way too much of a coincidence. These guys are obviously after me. And then Sammy's like, you know what? I don't actually know if these guys are after me. I'm going to like make a sharp turn and then hide. So this was kind of a risky move by Sammy, but he decided that he was going to do it anyways. So Sammy quickly makes a left-hand turn around the corner. So for a brief, like 30 seconds, both the gray hoodie and the black hoodie wouldn't be able to see him. Instead of continuing to walk, Sammy jumps into someone's yard, jumps into one of their bushes, and hides. But as Sammy's looking out, the gray hoodie and the black hoodie. The gray hoodie crosses the street, and the gray hoodie and the black hoodie both turn the same corner that Sammy was turning. They stop walking, they start looking around, and then they start talking with each other. And Sammy's close enough to hear a little fragments of what they're saying. They're saying, blah, 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 Sammy, blah, 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 can't find them, blah, 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 Wolf Brotherhood. So at this point, right, Sammy knows the two things. That one, these kids were following him, and they were after him. And second of all, that they have some relation, if they are not, the Wolf Brotherhood themselves, right? So Sammy is just like, this is so freaking weird, I don't know what to do. And he waits there, and he's just waiting there until, like, the guys, eventually they get up and they leave because they can't find Sammy anymore. So Sammy eventually gets out and just walks home as quickly as possible, completely freaked out at this point. Completely freaked out. So he walks on home, he gets back home, and he calls up his friend. His friend's like, yo, dude, like, sorry I couldn't make it out of the park. And Sammy's like, probably a good thing. You're not going to believe what I just witnessed. So Sammy tells the story to this kid, and yeah, sure enough, this, Sammy's friend's like, oh my god, like, dude, that's insane. Like, that's not normal. And Sammy's like, bro, I know, I don't know what to do about this. And Sammy's friend's like, man, like, I don't know what to tell you, like, advice-wise, but just be careful, man. Like, just be careful is all I'm trying to say. And he's like, you know what, man, I'm going to start asking around for my friends and see if any of them happen to know anything about, like, I don't know, this fox or wolf cult thing you were telling me about. Like, I don't totally, like, I don't think it's something, but, like, I don't know. I'll ask around. So sure enough, Sammy's friend's now in the case, and he's going to ask around. And Sammy's like, you know what, I'm just going to get my mind off of this. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to the mall and just hang out there. And Sammy felt a little bit safer at the mall than, like, at a random park with no one there, just because, like, other people were there. So the next day, Sammy walks over to the mall, and he's very paranoid walking over. And he's, like, looking over his shoulder. He's kind of looking around, but he plans to meet up with someone at the mall. So Sammy walks over about 5 minutes, and he gets to the mall. He sees his friend out there. They link up, and they start walking around. They walk to different stores or whatever, and they do what you do in the mall. And after a while,
I think some
like,
caves have
I gotta go. My mom's here,
response. I don't know.
Sammy's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to stay here a little bit longer. So Sammy's friend leaves, gets picked up by his mom, and Sammy walks into a clothing store. In this clothing store, it's really big, it's really wide, and there's a lot of, like, shelves. There's a lot of, like, racks and racks and racks of clothing, and it goes really far back. So Sammy is just, like, kind of, like, sifting through the clothes. He's kind of just looking around, and he's going through, and that's when, all of a sudden, like, he sees someone. He sees someone next to him who's kind of just standing there, not necessarily doing anything, but someone who's looking at their clothes, looking through clothes or whatever. And that's when he looks. And he looks at this person. And something just feels off, right? They're not, like, approaching him, but they're standing like in the corner of the store looking through clothes. And, he's just like, I gotta look. So sure enough, Sammy takes a peek, and yes, they have a red tail dangling between their legs. Sammy is so freaked out, he immediately turns and power walks out of the store. And he looks behind him, and the person, now in a blue hoodie with the red tail, has turned around and is starting to walk towards him. Sammy is completely freaking out. This is much bigger than he ever expected, and things are only about to get worse from here. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment furry down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. And if you want to continue supporting the channel, or just support the channel in general, just keep watching videos after this one, or at some point, just watch a bunch of videos in a row. Basically, the more videos on my channel that you watch, it gives me more minutes watched. Like, the more minutes you watch, the more it helps me out. And I'm actually genuinely curious what you guys are doing while watching these videos. And a lot of people recently have been telling me that, it helps them go to sleep. And if that's the case, let me just direct you to the playlist section on my channel. It'll help you guys watch videos, like, in a bunch in a row. So just so you know, if you want to submit stories of your own, go to my Instagram. It's in the description. It's Connor Pugs. And there you can submit stories. Make sure you're following me. And also, all of these videos, every single video I post will be up on Spotify within 2 to 3 hours after it's posted on here. So if you want to listen to these things on Spotify, if you're, like, working out or you're doing something,
I don't know where's the horse no more, man. Like, last time I had a horse, like, the baby horse, now it's gone. I feel like you cannot keep it. You need to find another horse. That is bullshit, man. Damn. That's a waste, bro. I don't know.
And that's when, like,
you can't have babies, bro. That's bullshit.
Someone standing, and sure enough, they have a blue thing dangling. And sure enough, it is a blue tail. So as Sammy passes by someone, right? As Sammy passes by someone, he immediately sees, like, someone walk out of a store and starts following him too. And that happens with another, and another, and another. Now there are 5 whole people that have come out, and they're stalking Sammy at this point. 5 people are walking after Sammy with, these blue or red or whatever tails.
Man, I feel like Max don't want to go outside, right? You don't want to go outside. Yeah. You're Henry's babysitter, or not?
Sammy starts dodging around, and he goes into a
Hi, Henry.
door, which kind of sounds like a
Hi, Henry.
trap. You're like, why would
Hello.
you go into one exit? The thing is, he knew that the store was big and complicated, but also there was an exit that didn't turn on the fire alarm. Because a lot of times, like, if you go into one of these stores, you go out their exit or whatever, it's going to have a fire alarm. But Sammy knew in the way back there's an exit where the fire alarm is disabled, and you could leave it without setting anything off. So Sammy walks into a store, And 30 seconds later, the 5 furry people walk in as well, trying to chase him down. And so sure enough, right after a little while of doing this, Sammy's going through, he's looking around, he finds the exit, he bursts out of it. At this point, he can't keep on, he knows that he's a little window of probably about a minute before they figure out that he left through this exit, or maybe they don't, but maybe they do, right? So Sammy's like, all right, I know what I gotta do. I gotta. Anyways, right, so at this point, Sammy is getting some ground, or gaining some ground, or whatever. He's actually getting some distance, and he just starts running. And, he runs and runs. He runs all the way back home, and gets to his house. His mom is gone for the day or something, so he gets in there, locks the door, runs up to it, makes sure, goes around to make sure that everything in the first floor is locked, runs all the way up to his room, and just, looks out the window. And it's like, okay, there's no way that those kids saw, I outran them, they're probably still in the mall, they probably have no idea where I am, yada yada, I'm totally fine, things are okay. And in the middle of thinking that, he sees 5 individuals in hoodies and furry tails walking down his street, and he's just thinking to himself, oh my god, there is no way, there is absolutely no way that this is true, there's no shot, that this is actually happening, this is not real life. And he's looking, and these 4 furry guys who are, walking, and in unison, they all turn, and they're staring at his window. He immediately ducks down, and kind of then, after a couple seconds, peeks back up, and he just sees, these 5 furry guys staring at his house. And he's like, oh my god, this is actually intense. This is one of the most insane thing ever. After about 2-3 minutes of them just staring there, they all turn in unison again and walk away. So once again, Sammy gets out his phone, calls up his friend, and is like, dude, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't think I can deal with this. This is way too insane. And his friend's like, dude, this is so crazy. I was talking to people all last night, telling them your story, trying to figure it out. And only one person said that they heard it was a weird kid club or something, but they didn't know much about it other than that. So the next day comes around, and it's now Monday, and Sammy goes into class. And Sammy's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm safe in school. Things are totally okay. As long as I'm surrounded by people, these weirdos can't come after me in public. So Sammy goes to his locker, and he sees another crumpled up piece of paper, right? And he's like, oh my god, there's no way.
Alright, I got a black thing. I don't know what the fuck. And it's already nighttime, so fuck my life.
This is only the beginning. Signed for Wolf Brotherhood. And he's like, no, this is only the beginning. Oh my god, these guys are crazy. These guys are insane, man. And sure enough, he's just like, okay. Folds up the letter, puts it in his backpack. He's trying to collect some evidence just in case. And, he goes to his first period class. He is totally tweaking out. He's feeling super weird. He is just stressed out beyond belief. And, oh my god, this is where it gets weird. And he's watching.
I have a problem with strays, so yeah, strays are not my favorites. Alright, mobs to fuck this thing. I think skeletons are so weird. It kills my llama, bro. This game. This game.
That's one of the kids that was stalking me. This is one of the kids that was stalking me. This is crazy. And the kid sits, literally takes the seat right behind Sammy. And Sammy is so uncomfortable right now. He's so weirded out. He's like, oh my god, this is so scary, this is so crazy. And the teacher starts teaching class. And that's when he feels the furry kid behind him, scoot up a little closer, scoot up a little closer. And then he feels the furry kid, he just, feels the vibrations of the kid getting out of his seat and going onto all fours. And he's like, what? Bro, what are you doing? And he turns around, and the furry kid grabs his hand and puts his entire hand into his mouth and bites down. At this point, Sammy's like, oh my god. And the teacher, kind of yells it out. The teacher looks over, and he sees this kid on all fours chewing on Sammy's hand. And thankfully he didn't break any skin, because Lord knows this kid has 3,000 diseases in his mouth or whatever, and his saliva would basically be as toxic as a king cobra. But sure enough, right, the teacher's like, Xavier, stop that right now. Let's just call the kid Xavier. And the teacher goes over, basically pulls Xavier off of Sammy, and he's like, what's going on? And Sammy's like, I don't know, this kid just bit me. And she's like, Sammy, go to the school nurse, and Xavier, like, go to the principal's office. I will be sending up a note to make sure that you make it there to tell him what you did. And sure enough, right, Sammy goes over to the nurse's office, and they look at his hand, and they're like, wow, what happened here? Did, what's going on? And Sammy had to explain that a crazy furry in class tried to devour him. And the nurse was like, you know what, I'm not going to ask any more clarifying questions. I'm good with just that, no offense, but we're going to keep it at that. The nurse is making sure he doesn't have any wounds, kind of just, sanitizes the area anywhere. It's like, do you want any bandages? He's like, no, that's fine. So anyways, when Sammy's done, he doesn't go back to class. He goes to a room. He goes to, some kind of printer, grabs a piece of printer paper, goes in his backpack, takes out a pen, and writes down a note saying, Dear, Wolf Brotherhood, I propose a truce. Meet me at the basketball park or the basketball court after school, 5 minutes after school. He takes his letter and he puts it on his locker. And he folds it up a little bit, but he puts it on his locker because he assumes they're going to go by again. And sure enough, by the time the bell rings and Sammy goes to his locker, he sees the note is gone. And inside his locker, there's a piece of paper, and he opens it up, and it reads, "We will be there at that time. See you then, Wolf Brotherhood." Right? So he's like, "All right, finally, I'm gonna meet these guys." So anyways, right, Sammy is a little nervous, and he walks out to the basketball court, and he sees 5 people in hoodies and tails standing there. He's like, "Oh my God, this is actually low-key kind of scary, bro. I'm low-key kind of scared." And sure enough, he's kind of freaking out. He's kind of sweating a little bit, and he walks over, and he hears, "Hello there, Sammy. Welcome to the Wolf Brotherhood." Immediately by the sound of this guy's voice, he was no longer scared. And they all take off their hoodies, and some of them have fox ears on, other of them have super long emo black hair. They're definitely not it's not like Mike Tyson at his prime in the ring. You're okay. I'm definitely not too scared by their appearances. Don't judge a book by its cover, but in this case, yes, do it. So sure enough, the kids are like, "It seems that the Wolf Brotherhood has scared you quite well enough, Sammy." And Sammy's like, "Yeah, you guys are weird, really weird. One of your kids tried to bite me." They're like, "Yes, that was a Wolf Brotherhood performing a wolf bite attack." Sammy's like, "Yeah, it was really weird. You guys are strange." They're like, "So, you want a truce because you lost to the Wolf Brotherhood?" And Sammy in his head is like, "Okay, these are a bunch of geeks, but they all
Fuck me, bro.
really know life. So if I say no, then they're gonna keep stalking me and being weird." And Sammy's like, "Yeah, I'd like a truce. I don't know
Yo,
why you
yes,
guys
I'm
drafted
good.
me in the first place." And one kid steps up. He's like, "I see you don't remember our battle a couple weeks ago." Sammy's like, "Dude, what are you saying?" He's like, "You don't remember our battle in the hallway?" Sammy's like, "Oh, wait, yeah, you were the kid who I bumped into accidentally, and you were kissing or growling at me." He's like, "Yeah, we needed revenge for that." He's like, "Oh, well, it was an accident, man. I'm sorry." And they're like, "There are no accidents." Trying to be all I don't know, ancient wisdom type deal or something, but they just kind of sounded like cringe. And sure enough, right, Sammy's like, "All right, well, I'm sorry. Can there be a truce?" You're like, "Council, unite!" And the 5 of them kind of huddle in a circle. Sammy's like, "Dude, I swear to God, if they come out with some BS or something, they're like, actually, we need $500 from you,
So,
and then we'll let you go."
what's my plan here? I'm gonna farm some
Actual
shit,
extortion type stuff.
like
But they,
some
eventually
seeds.
they go back to standing in a row of 5, and they're
And
like,
I'm gonna farm
"You
these
know,
things. No way.
you should be grateful that the Council of the Wolf Brotherhood is so generous. We have granted you immunity in our land." And Sammy's like, "Wait, your land?" And they say, "Yes, the school, the park, the playground, and the local mall are Wolf Brotherhood territory. You were enemy number 1 for a while, but now you are on the safe travelers list. Have a good day, Sammy." The next day, Sammy's sitting at lunch with his friends, and his friends are dying to know what was happening, because his friend told everybody about what happened. Let's call the subscriber who submitted the first story Lucas. By the way, you can submit your own stories to me on Instagram or Twitter. They're both in the description. Just submit them to my DMs. That's all you gotta do. So anyways, I'm not gonna cut that out. I'm trying to keep this interesting. So anyways, Lucas was in, we're gonna say he was in the 5th grade. I know that he was younger. I don't know exactly how old he was, but this is very 5th grader type something, you know? So Lucas was in the 5th grade, and Lucas, sorry about that, Lucas had some friends. And one of the friends we're gonna call Ben. And Ben was the kid who did the thing in the title of this video, and probably the reason why you clicked into this video. Because it is so ridiculous. It is literally so ridiculous. But anyways, sparkling water, by the way. I don't drink adult lemonade or anything like that. So sure enough, you know, they're all sitting around one day, and they were getting tests handed back to them. And this teacher was not nice to them. I don't know if you guys have had teachers like this, but for
Okay,
example,
let's go to mining because I'm out of resources no more and I have no shit no more. We are stacked.
Right? Of course we're getting a curve.
Yeah.
Come to class, the teacher says, I'm satisfied with how that went. He's satisfied with the average being basically a fail. He said no curve. So I feel for this person, right? Because it's Lucas and all of his friends. They're sitting around and they get their tests back and the results aren't good. But specifically, Ben did not get the result he wanted. I mean, Ben practically failed the test. I think he actually did. He probably did actually fail, not just practically failed. But yeah, so Ben failed. Everyone else practically failed. Lucas did way below what he wanted, and always to an extent, it's on you. But also in this case, it very much felt like the teacher was, doing this to them on purpose for some reason, right? And, so not Tommy, that's the guy in the next story. Ben, Lucas, and all of his other friends were sitting around at lunch. And, Ben, who got, the failing grade, who was extra upset, started to go off about how, Mr. Davenport, we'll call the teacher Mr. Davenport, because I always call the secondary character Ben and the teacher Mr. or Mrs. Davenport. Oh, Mr. Davenport's so mean to me, he just, he always gives me the worst grades. He's always giving all of us the worst grades. We gotta get back at him. We gotta, prank him somehow. And all the other kids, including Lucas, the subscriber who submitted the story, kind of was just like, no, dude, we don't need to do that. We really don't need to do that. That's, yes, if I was in 2nd grade, whatever, we put a, whoopee cushion under his chair and then get, suspended for a day or something. I don't know. But they say, now, you know what? We just got to do well in this class. It's just one of these classes we just got to buckle down and do well in. Sure, he's a very annoying grader. We don't like him as a teacher. But basically, all the kids came to the conclusion of, no, we can't prank him. That's only going to get us in more trouble, which I 100% agree. It's going to feel good for a second, and then you're just going to be in so much more trouble. It's just not worth the headache. And everyone was saying, okay, that's a good idea. Everyone except Lucas. Everyone besides Lucas was 100% convinced. And today, just so you know, was a Friday. And they were all having a big sleepover that Saturday night. It's important for you guys to know that all the kids sitting around are friends. Lucas, Ben, and some other kids. So let's skip ahead.
When he get here, I'm trying to not have any
Lucas gets a text from Ben saying,
things.
hey man, I don't even know if
I don't want snow in my base, bro. Snow in my base
Lucas
is suck.
oh man, what's good? Why can't you show up? And he's like, my mom's so upset with the grade that she's considering I have to stay in on the weekends to go just do my sorry. I have to stay on weekends just to do my homework the entire time or whatever. And Ben says, hey, but my dad's fighting for me, so we'll see how it goes. It turns out that, after talking for a while, Ben's dad is able to convince Ben's mom that, depriving him of time with his friends, especially just over one poor test grade when, Ben was very clear that he says, oh, everyone did poorly and the teacher's a jerk, right? Ben's mom wasn't happy about it, but she decided that depriving her kids time of human interaction probably wasn't going to solve the problem, which I've never understood when parents are like, oh my god, you're doing so terrible. Yeah, maybe hanging out with people let's actually, I don't know, let's not do homework, let's skip school all the time. Sure, fine. But most cases, depriving your kid of human interaction is not going to, give them, the state where they're going to do all their homework or something like that. So anyways, what's important is that Ben does show up to the sleepover eventually. And, so they all, the big thing about the sleepover was that none of them were allowed to watch South Park. I don't know if you guys have seen South Park before, but it's a show, and I wasn't allowed to see it for a very long time because there's a lot of stuff in it that I can understand why my mom was like, nah, you're not seeing that, I'm sorry, it's just not happening. It's fine, I get it. And these kids were not allowed to see South Park. They were 6th graders, or 5th graders. And they all decided that at the sleepover, that they were all gonna watch South Park, and it was gonna be like the best thing ever. And they were gonna do it. The parents went to bed, and they were gonna sneak downstairs or whatever, right? And so sure enough,
I'll do it if I'm out of food. I don't know what the
they
fuck.
go downstairs.
I've been farming a lot, bro. I have a lot of
Nighttime, the
cows.
parents
Look at
have gone
this.
to bed. It's Lucas,
Look at this.
Ben,
That's
and
awesome,
all
bro.
his friends. They turn on the TV. They turn it up like one volume bar, but they don't turn it up all the way because they don't want to get caught. And sure enough, they go on Comedy Central at the right time, and an episode of South Park is playing. It's very important that I add this detail because a very specific episode is playing this day. If you don't know, there's a character in South Park called Cartman. Cartman is not the greatest role model. And this is the episode where Cartman craps on the desk, which inspires what is to happen next. So basically, you don't need to know everything that happened, but Cartman, trying to get himself in trouble, he wants to get out of class and be held at detention, is very desperate to do so, walks up on his teacher's desk and craps all over. And he's like, craps in your desk, like, I just crapped in your desk, what are you gonna do about it? And he gets in trouble, of course. And the problem was, most of the kids there understood that's ridiculous. Don't do that to your teacher. Please don't watch this video and then go on to do something like that. It's the bare minimum, guys. Come on.
Alright.
The one person who
Fuck my
didn't
life, man.
understand that, who thought it was the greatest thing he's ever seen, was Ben. Remember, Ben was the most angry at his teacher for giving him a bad grade. Ben was the one who wanted to seek revenge. And revenge, Ben will seek, because now he has a plan. Now he understands what he must do. So while watching this, Ben casually says, wouldn't this be hilarious if one of us did this to Mr. Davenport? Like, he would totally deserve it. And all the kids were laughing. They were like, yeah, dude, you're totally right. Not actually agreeing with them. You know when your friend says something, like, insane, and you disagree to it because it's, like, funny? Of course, it's not actually, like, you don't actually expect they're going to do that. You just think it's funny, right? You just think it's funny. So everyone was like, yeah, well, that'd be hilarious. Not actually expecting Ben to be like, okay, that's a great idea. Okay, let's skip to Monday. This is where things start to get really interesting. So sure enough, it is Monday, and it is class time. And the teacher, Mr. Davenport, starts talking about how everyone didn't do so well in the last exam, and that, like, that's, we're going to work on it. And he says, I know that a lot of you did try. However, there's certain material that I need to cover because it will be expected of you in the next class. And this is one thing I can totally understand. Sometimes teachers just put material on there just to be hard. And if it's not a weed-out class for, like, a very competitive major, I truly don't understand why you'd want to do that. However, in some circumstances, teachers know that in your next class, maybe like if you take Algebra 1, Algebra 2, your next class, for example, is going to you need to know certain topics. So even if kids aren't doing well, you need to be tested on them. Fair enough.
Alright, so I have a plan in mind to get a lot of villagers and
all Ben heard was that, like, I hate you guys and I failed you because I'm evil.
So yeah, I have a
So
plan.
Ben,
Alright, I'm gonna
after
go for my
Mr.
supplier real quick and
about, like, oh, well,
get some stuff.
I'll make sure to teach you, like, please be honest when you guys don't understand something. I'll be more transparent about what's going on in the tests, stuff like that. Never saying that he's like, oh, I won't put hard stuff on it anymore, just being like, I'll try and make it more obvious.
Alright, there's a cave
after
there,
that whole
alright.
thing, Ben raises his hand and he asks the teacher, like
motherfuckers are here,
about, like, giving us all
stuck
bad
here,
grades,
alright.
which everyone's heads kind of turned because that was kind of a weird thing to say. Like,
Alright.
I mean, it was on everyone's mind. Don't get me wrong, it was on everyone's mind. However, it's just kind of a very awkward and it just was very. It wasn't fitting for a kid to say that.
Come on, bruh.
And the teacher
Come
was
on,
a little bit taken
man.
aback a little bit. Was like,
You're my
oh,
secretary,
I
you
get,
bitch.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Come on,
yeah, I mean, I'm
please.
sorry you guys didn't do as well as we all hoped, but there's many more tests in the future. And unfortunately, this was not a sufficient answer to Ben, apparently, because Ben. I don't know why. The teacher was sitting up at his desk, and Ben ran up to the front of the room. And the teacher had a book bag. Those, like, briefcase book bags, right? Those kind of, like, briefcase type. Those bags, you just carry your computer. Maybe it's like a laptop bag. I don't really know. And Ben goes to the front of the room. And, well, I mean, I think you guys can understand what's happening next. He goes to the front of the room, he steps on top of it, he, like, pulls it out from under the teacher's desk. The teacher's just he's just so stunned at what's going on, he doesn't have time to speak. And Ben pulls down his pants, and it was so incredibly quick what Ben did that, people probably thought that he'd been saving that up for months, which is, quite impressive. Like, not impressive in a good way. I'm not impressed by this, guys. Don't do this. But, yeah, in front of everyone, just, there's number 2 on his book bag. And then Ben afterwards immediately starts laughing. And he's like, that's what you get for failing us, haha. And he expected everyone else in the class to start laughing because he did the lull funny from South Park. Nobody was laughing. Dead silence. In fact,
Dead
it
silence.
was shock and horror, right? It was like the most silent that room has ever been, except the times when nobody's in the room. No one was laughing at this guy, man. At this point, Mr. Davenport, after being so shocked of seeing what happened, starts to realize what just transpired. He's like, oh my god, like this is insane. Like all this kind of stuff. Like you can't like. Oh my god, like, he's pretty messed up. He's like, hey, like you got to go to the front office right now. There's no exceptions. Like you need to go right now. And Ben's starting to realize how ridiculous what he was doing. Immediately, he's like, yes, I'm sorry, I'll go. And Lucas turns to his friend because one of the other friends that was at the sleepover was in his class, and he was sitting next to him. And Ben was sitting on the other side of Lucas, but obviously he got up to go to the front of the classroom. And Lucas talked to the other friend. He's like, dude, is that because of us? Like, was that because of the episode we watched? And the friend's like, dude, remember when he said wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And Lucas is like, oh my god, but we said yes. This is our fault. Alright, so the subscriber submitted the next story. We're going to call him Tommy. And this is a very classic tale that happens in middle school and high school. And it's just a cautionary tale of someone trying to be cool, and they end up just completely, they get in trouble for it. They kind of deserve, what comes to them. But you'll see what I mean. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Lucas down below. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Thank you guys for watching the videos recently, especially when I haven't been active. I've, had some kind of sickness type of thing. I don't even know what it was, but I'm pretty much done now. So you might hear some voice cracks and all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for all your concern in the comments. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys care about me.
No, fuck it, man. I'm changing my settings right now.
Listen to this on Spotify. All the episodes are posted there.
Like,
I'm a little bit
like
behind,
we
but most
can
cases,
actually
episodes will be posted 2-3 hours early on there. Submit stories to me on Twitter. Or
actually put many
Instagram.
beds here and in the cave
Please
in
be
case.
following me too. I might see
Like I have to be there
wow,
actually to
follow me?
survive
Wow, okay, I'm posting the story, but make sure
to
you
actually
follow
do
me.
that.
But anyways, that's all I want to say, and let's just get right into the story. We're going to call the subscriber who submitted this Tommy. So anyways, Tommy was sitting in class one day, and there's this kid who we're going to call Ben.
Yes,
Tommy
in the
and Ben
past
were not
days we're gonna put
friends,
some
unlike
iron
the last
golems
Ben
in
and the
case.
subscriber in the last video. And, Ben was kind of known as, like, the kid who was, like, trying to always be, like, edgy and cool. He wasn't, like, actually that much of, like, an outcast or did anything too bad. He was just always known as the kid who wanted to be perceived as the kid who would, like, do, like, oh my god, he's the kid who, like, did it. Oh my god, he did X or he did Y. He's so savage, man. He's so crazy. He's the kid who wanted to get that perception. And, and this was back when, okay, I don't think YouTube likes it when I say vaping, so I'm going to come up with a different word so the bot doesn't hear me say it too much. Let me think. Okay, I'm just going to say inhaling. You guys know what I mean. Actually, that kind of sounds worse, but the bot doesn't care as much. So anyways, this was when, like, inhaling very specific, rhymes with cool, but isn't. That product became very popular.
Man, you see my basement, alright.
Which is very interesting. I'll talk about that on my other channel, maybe. But, this product became very popular, and it was almost like, oh my god, super cool to inhale the mango version of it, or whatever. Oh my god, I have the mint one. Oh my god, you gotta catch them all, guys, or whatever, right? And, yet, no, getting early stage lung cancer is not swag, guys. Come on now, let's chill out. Oh my god, early addiction to nicotine, yay! No, not good, not good. Anyway, so this kid, Ben, wanted to be the first one in his like 6th grade class to be like in
Oh, it
class
doesn't work.
inhaling his device, right? Because he wanted to be super swag. He wanted to be incredibly edgy. He wanted to be one of those kids. He wanted to be everyone to be known that like he was not a conformist in society. In fact, he was so unconformist in society that he doesn't even know what society is. That's how far away he is. So one day,
They're calling a
Ben was
lot
in
of
class,
villagers. Like,
and he
I
had a
have
big
to
old like
mine some
Fortnite
shit.
hoodie or
Like,
whatever. So wow, super edgy already. And you know he had this big old Fortnite hoodie on, and
yes,
he
and
had his
there's a
knees in his
chest in
hoodie.
the village.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I used to do this a little bit as a kid. I just put my knees in my like big hoodie, and it'd be like, oh no, the hoodie's all stretched
I have to
out.
do a regular fucking
Whatever.
wood.
Like you
Alright.
do the most mundane things as a kid. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. But the thing was, he
Alright then.
would like put his knees into the hoodie, and then also kind of like reach his head down, like through into like the hole that he was like, or
Like
the, kind of
crossbows, one of my
the
favorite stuff.
cave
I
type
don't
thing
know.
he was creating with his knees,
Alright,
so that
I
you
have
couldn't
a
really see what his
plan.
head
Alright,
was
I have a
doing, and
plan
you
in
also couldn't see
mind.
what his hands were
Right.
doing. That sounds very sus, but it's sus
Alright.
in a different way. And sure enough, you know, he would be, using.
I do have a plan in
inhalation
mind to
device,
have a lot of
that
villagers.
comes from smoke, and it's not like
My plan is a little bit more
thick,
simple than everything.
camel smoke
Yeah.
or something like that from a cigarette or something. But it's like it is, it's vape smoke. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want you to be mad at me, man, but the story's kind of funny. And so kids next to him, specifically Tommy the subscriber, they see this cloud, and he's like, "What's this clown doing over here?" Because no one thought this was cool. I mean, it was kind of like the thing for the edgy.
Yes, you see, there's a lot of villagers there, right? It's just a
You
start.
don't need this, right?
Just a start.
And
So yeah.
so he's doing
So yeah,
it, and he, like,
I'm doing my
takes his head out,
previous
he looks
mining
around,
antique
and he
over
starts like
here.
blowing this smoke around even more when the teacher isn't looking, and all the kids are looking at him like, "Can you please stop? Like, can you not do that? That's really annoying. Like, can you not blow clouds of smoke in my face, man? Can you not do that? Thanks. Can you please stop?" So anyways, right, this kid, Ben, is like, "Oh my god, I'm the sickest guy on planet Earth." And he just keeps doing it. And he does it for a couple weeks, and he's in class, he's not paying attention, and he's just trying to get everyone's attention by, "Oh my god, man. Dude, he's got the vaporation device. Oh my god. I want to be like him. I bet his breath smells like mangoes. Oh my god." I don't know, man. Like, it just, no one was really falling for it. Even though this was a bunch of 6th graders who I bet, well, when I was in 6th grade, I would have been like, "Whoa, look at this guy. He doesn't care about his health at all. That's so crazy. Oh my god, short-term vision, boys, let's go." And I sound like a guy I never did. I was actually never one of those kids. It was crazy in my high school, but I never did, which was, I'm happy because I don't want an addiction to that. That's not fun, especially nowadays. I see the people there like, I wish I never did it. And yeah, I feel bad. But anyways, back to the story. This kid keeps on being the most egregious cloud blowing them in class, and it's so obvious. But for some reason, a combination of luck somehow allowed that the teacher would always be turned away while the clouds of smoke were being blown, or while he was obviously doing it in his hoodie. And by the time the teacher turned around, the clouds had dissipated. Except this one time when, Ben got really, really cocky and started trying to do like smoke tricks. Like, he tried to blow like circles or O's or whatever. And sure enough, one of these times he's in the middle of blowing a massive cloud, and the teacher turns around. So Ben's luck is completely ran out. The teacher, who's been like briefed by a meeting like right before this or something about like, "If you see your kids inhaling special stuff or whatever, like, this is an epidemic around the school, you must report them to the front office," or something like that, right? So he knows what to do. He's like, "Ben, what are you doing over there?" And Ben is like, it's like, you just see a big thing of smoke coming out. He's like, "Oh, nothing." At this point, just admit it. Like, it did it, man. Come on now. And the teacher's like, nope, I definitely saw something. Go to the front office. And so sure enough, yeah, Ben went to the front office, and everyone's just looking up at him. Just remember, the whole point from doing this is he's trying to be all like edgy and cool or whatever. But yeah, he ended up, he got his thing taken away from him, and he came back to class, and he was all salty and sad because he probably spent like all of his money from some. on that thing. Probably got some dealer who charged him like 100x what it actually was worth or something. And yeah, Ben was pretty upset for the next, because he didn't get it back. The teacher's like, okay, we'll give you this illegal device for minors back after school. Like, that's not how it works, man. So yeah, he didn't buy another one, and he tried to find other ways to be like extra cool and epic and edgy. So we're gonna call the subscriber who submitted the story Alex. And by the way, my Instagram is in the description. It's also Connor Pugs. Go follow me there, and you can submit stories like this to me on there. I'll get to them when I get to them. And anyways. So Alex was in 8th grade, and he had this kid in his class who we're going to call Ben. Yes, we're bringing back the name Ben for random secondary characters. And anyways, right, Ben was like, he wasn't like super into Minecraft. Actually, he knew nothing of Minecraft until like
Let's do some designs right here.
And that's
Like
when he
1,
was
2,
introduced to
3.
the game by one of
There we
Alex's
go.
friends.
Like,
We don't need a name,
I'm too
right?
lazy to
And
fucking
anyways,
do
right,
anything.
Ben got super into it. Alex doesn't really know how Ben didn't know what Minecraft was. Like, it wasn't like Alex wasn't, or it wasn't like Ben wasn't on the internet. Like, I think Ben might have heard of it, but he didn't know what it was. So when one of Alex's friends introduced Minecraft to him, Ben basically disappeared for like 2 weeks. Like, he went to school and everything, but he stopped being on social media, disappeared as soon as he could, like, didn't show up to anything. He was just in his room for as long as he could, playing Minecraft. And I don't mean like parkour servers like this or player versus player servers. I mean, he was playing like vanilla, straight up, your traditional Minecraft. That's all he was doing, and he was in love with it. And 3 weeks later, he came into school one day, and he's like, Alex, buddy, I need to tell you something, a revelation I've come to. And Alex is like, yeah, what's good, dude? And Ben's like, brother, we need to return to the caveman days. I was playing Minecraft a couple days ago, and I came to a realization that we need to return to our caveman roots. And I have started that already. Alex is like, what do you mean by that? And at this time, Alex was noticing quite a pungent aroma coming from Ben, right? He didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to be mean. He didn't want to be, cruel or anything. But let's just say that, Benny old boy was not smelling the greatest. He was kind of, he had this essence, this odor, this aroma, some might call it, that, wasn't the greatest, to put it lightly, right? So anyways, Alex or Ben goes on to say, yeah, so I've been playing Minecraft, and it just feels so good. It feels so natural. I mean, yeah, playing a block game feels natural, but whatever. I like Minecraft. I'm not saying it's not, but he goes on to
I'm
say,
playing Minecraft, bro. What is that about?
My failures in the lady department. The reason why women don't love me is because I'm not like the natural man. And when they see me as the natural caveman, they will instinctively fall in love with me. And Alex just looks at Ben. He's like, Ben, I don't know where you're going with this, but I really don't have a good feeling about this. And Ben's like, Alex, I'm here to convert you to my ways. And Alex is like, what? And he's like, are you trying to like sell me an MLM or something? Like, where are we going with this? And Ben is like, no, Alex, return to the caveman. Return to the caveman, Alex. This is what Steve has taught me. And Alex is like, Ben, are you okay? Like, need help? Like, I can help you get. He's like, no, you need help, man. You don't understand. He said, look, I've returned to my caveman roots, but by not doing any of the showering that is in our modern day societies. You really think putting chemicals in our hair and rinsing
Darn
it
it.
with
I have to
water,
put my bed in there, bro. Like, I'm crafting a lot of beds right now, so if you...
He's like, these are details. These are details, Alex. Don't question it. It's whatever. You don't understand. The natural aroma that comes from the human body has been programmed for trillions of years. And Alex is like, I don't think humans have been around for trillions of years. And Ben's like, that's not the point. The point is the aroma, the natural musk. Sure, you can buy cheap garbage from, like, I don't know, Armani or Gucci. Their fragrance is terrible. It'll destroy the brain cells. But the true caveman odor is what Steve has taught me. And Alex is like, so are you gonna, like, I don't know, spend more time outside, get more sunlight, exercise, eat like not processed stuff like the caveman too? And Alex is like,
I have to close.
Like, whoa,
Like, I have to close in the bed right now, just in case they they want to get it.
Okay, man. Is that good? Like, let's not go crazy. I'm not dropping everything for this caveman thing, but I am embracing the natural musk. And Alex just looks at him. So Ben, you're not really changing anything about what you do besides not showering. That's the only difference. Ben's like, well, no. It's not just not showering. It's embracing my natural musk, my natural odor. It will instinctively make women love me. And Alex is like, Ben, as your friend, I guess, I strongly suggest you don't do this. And Ben is like, you know what, Alex? I understand that you're a hater. That's okay. Alex is like, I don't think I'm a hater, and Ben's like, silence. Look, you know that girl over there, Ava? You know how, the prettiest girl in our class. I've always had a crush on her, and I never had a chance. Alex is like, well, that's also something that has not changed. Ben's like, look, I'm gonna go up to her, and you're gonna see. I'm gonna go up to her, I'm gonna lift up my arms, so my armpits are bare, let her embrace my natural aroma, my natural odor. You will see that she will just fall in love with me. I'm gonna ask her out, and she's gonna say yes. It's not even gonna be her saying yes, it's gonna be her subconscious breaking through to the surface and convincing her that I am the true man for her. Alex is just looking at Ben. It's like, dude, did playing Minecraft make you think this or something? And Ben's like, no! It encouraged me to remember my true caveman days. And Alex is like, okay. That's cool, man. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, you're cool. That's good. Okay, actually...
Yes.
Let's see it.
Yes.
I will, too, embrace the caveman if Ava goes out with you because you smell bad. If Ben's like, I don't smell bad, I smell natural. If that is bad to your nose, then you have a bad nose. Ben's like, or Alex is like, I got bad nose. That's not great. It's like, you'll see. Anyways, next day comes around, and Alex is sitting with his friends, and he explains, like, yeah, so you know Ben, right? And they're like, yeah, we know Ben. Alex is like, yes. Yeah,
I'll get rid of this one. Or no?
Like, well, I don't know what he's been doing, but he's been smelling like garbage recently. Alex is like, it's related. You're not gonna believe this. He played Minecraft, and then he believed he had to go back to the cave.
Oh, fuck
era,
you.
Like, get to be a man again. That doesn't mean working out or reading. It just means not showering for some reason. It's kind of ridiculous. And they're like, yeah, I mean, Ben has been smelling a little bit more musty, and it kind of smells like spoiled milk at this point. But I guess, I guess that makes sense now. And Alex goes on to say, yeah, and Ava. And they're like, yeah, of course we know Ava. Let's call her class beauty, right? 10 out of 10. They're like, yeah. Alex is like, yeah. So Ben is gonna ask her out later today. They're like, he's gonna do what? He's gonna do, and Alex is like, yeah. So Ben thinks that because he smells like he does, she's gonna instinctively say yes. They're like, dude, why did you say yes? Why did you allow him to go on with this? At this point, Alex's friends are like, bro, you're kind of being a bad friend of Ben. And Alex is like, dude, he was so confident, he was being so cocky. And they're like, dude, he's gonna get rejected. And there's a chance he gets rejected really hard and really embarrassingly in front of everyone. Do you want that for him? And look, Alex was not happy with the way that Ben went about explaining or teaching him, quote unquote, the ways of the caveman, aka no shower, no more, right? But at the end of the day, they were still friends, and Alex knew that Ava was not just going to say no, but, she developed a bit of an ego because she did know that she was the most beautiful girl in the class, and she could have any guy she wanted. She was not going to be nice about letting him down. She was going to be cruel, she was going to be mean, and she was going to crush him, dude. She was going to freaking crush him. And Alex is like, alright, I got to find Ben. I need to find him before he asks Ava out. And as Alex was saying that, he looks up, and he looks at the table, because they're sitting at lunch. He looks at the table farthest away, and that's where Ava and her friends were sitting, and Ben was walking up to her table. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Minecraft down below, and if you want to support the channel, one of the best things you can do is binge watch the videos. Please let me know in the comment section what you're doing while watching these videos. And also, final thing, a bit of a new...
Let me see here. I'm trying to get some wood, but I don't know. Like this wood and this wood, because I am out of shit. Like Oh my god, I need to cry off a bed, man.
Bring them to the family over in here. And if you could just, even just following me in there and occasionally watching my videos, basically no one watches them on there, and I need a little bit of traction from you guys to help them reach new people, and I really would appreciate it. Anyways, let's get back to the story before I bore you guys. And also, if you're gonna buy some gamer subs or any of their stuff, wait about a week.
Nope, I'm not attacking you, boy.
Guys, but
Dude, I
anyways,
just look at you, boy, and I know.
right now. Anyways, right, so Alex looks over and he notices that Ben is walking to Ava's table. He's like, oh my god, no, this can't be happening. And he goes over, he starts to like walk over, and the people Alex was sitting with are like, Alex, go, he's gonna do it. Don't let this happen. So Alex is basically sprinting over to the table, but he doesn't get there in time, and he kind of stops. He's like, no, I'm too late. So Ben goes up to Ava and goes, ahem, Ava? And Ava looks up and is like, yes? Oh, wait, the next part's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Ben goes up to her and literally lifts up both of his arms. You know how, like, after you run and you're, like, really exhausted, you'll put your arms above your heads to, like, make it easier to breathe, right? Or you're told to do that or whatever, right? That's basically what he did. And you could see Ava's face. Like, first you saw her nose kind of twitch as she was smelling what was going on. And then you saw her eyes water, her face crunch up, and you could almost hear, like, like, it was a bad smell. It was not good. And Alex is like, oh no, oh my god, I'm partially responsible. Oh my god, I'm partially responsible, man. This is on me. Anyways, Ben goes on to say, so, Ava, now that, I've let your senses, acclimate themselves, and if you have any primal urges, wink wink, that are coming up from, the surface that are breaking through, would you like to go on a date? You know what, let's just skip that. Would you like to be my girlfriend? And Alex is like, in his head, he's like, no, Ben, no, and so sure enough, Ava's just looking at him, blinking. Not even responding, not laughing or anything. She's just blinking. She's just so dumbfounded by the, did this kid just straight up ask me out? Because remember, Ava and Ben, they're not friends. They're not dating each other. They're not close like that. What? He also smells terrible. And Ben is like, if you don't know your answer yet, maybe you'll know it in a second. And Ben literally gets close to her and, like, pushes his armpit in her face. And she's like, ew, get away from me. Kind of pushes him back. He's like, looks over at Alex. And Ben's like, yells over, don't worry, Alex. Don't worry. Give it a second. You'll see, man. You'll see. It's crazy. You're not going to believe it. She's going to fall in love with me. And Ava looks up. Fall in love with you? I don't know who you are. I just know that you're a guy who came over here and is smelling terrible and is pushing his stinky armpits in my face. No, I will not go out with you. And, like, at this point, everybody in the cafeteria.
Wait, what? How do you craft a fucking thing?
Is looking at this because it's a scene. It's a spectacle. I mean,
oh, okay, never mind.
Is standing up there with his greased out armpits, and Ava, known as the prettiest girl in the class, has just demolished him in front of everyone, spectators of the entire class. At this point, there's an awkward silence because people have stopped speaking. Like, they have stopped speaking because they want to hear what's going on. And Ben is like, I see. Let me know if you change your mind. And Ava's like, no, I will never change my mind. As I said, she's a little extra, right? And Ben just walks over to Alex. And Alex looks at him. He's like, dude, I was trying to come over to tell you not to do it. Like, I'm sorry. This is my fault. Ben's like, bro, this is not your fault. She just needs time to realize. Like, Ben goes on to say that, this is totally part of the plan. You knew that there's a chance that, her, like, primal senses would be stopped by her, like, brain, but it was only a matter of time till, like, they break through. And now that he's, like, broken through the senses through, like, essencing out the stink or whatever, that, like, eventually, within, like, the next 24 hours, she will come to her senses, maybe privately, maybe not publicly, but they will be dating. And Alex is like, dude, you can't seriously think that. And Ben is like, it's my theory. Like, I know it's to be true. You have your opinions, and I have my facts. I'm sorry, I stole that from Baskets. Greatest show ever. Rip Christine Baskets, bro. Brings a tear to my eye. Anyways, and so sure enough, next day rolls around. It has been 24 hours. And Alex just goes up to Ben. He's like, yo. Ben's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, hey, did she ask you out yet? And he's like, no, it hasn't been 24 hours. Ben looks at his phone, looks at the time. He's like, dude, it's been like 22 hours. And Ben goes on to say, see, you're proving my points. Once again, my facts destroy your opinions. And Alex is like, okay, but, I mean, she hasn't asked you out yet. And 2 hours go by, Alex goes up to him, and Ben's like, dude, I don't want to talk about it. Alex is like, that's fine, man. Like, you don't have to prove anything to me. Like, I get it. Alex is like, dude, you're good. Don't worry about it. Just please go home and take a shower. And sure enough, Ben, while he actually continued to play Minecraft, no longer believed the whole caveman philosophy of you must smell like garbage for women to like you. And that was partially due to the fact that it doesn't work, and he has first-hand experience in why it doesn't work. And yeah, him and Ava did not ever date from that point on. It was a pretty bad first impression. By the way, that was a first impression practically. I think they knew each other beforehand, but yeah. Moral of the story is don't do that. I'm going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sam. So anyways, this all happened when Sam, when Sam was in 8th grade, which was 6 months ago. Also, real quick, you can like Dream, you can even be a Dream stan. I personally don't care. We're cool either way. As long as you don't act like this girl, you're totally cool. That's
All right, I'm trying to have the
So anyways,
stuff. I'm
Sam
trying to
was in
get
8th
some
grade about
beds
6 months
here.
ago.
I'm
Well,
trying
the
to craft
story
some
happened
beds. I
around
don't
6
know.
months ago. So he was just, he was in his lab class or his science class or whatever you want to call it. And normally the teacher let them choose lab partners. But for some reason, one day, the teacher came in and said, hey,
I have a
here's the
genius
thing
idea.
about, like,
What about I
I'm gonna give
change
you
this
randomized lab
to a
partners.
damn
You guys
chest
have been
door?
choosing
Like,
the same people every
like-
single day. And
like this
everyone's
one
like,
right
what?
here.
No, that's my friend. And he's like,
And boom.
tough. You're going to get a
Another
random
bed,
lab partner,
another
and
bed
you're
right
gonna like
here.
it. So anyways, right, Sam was
And 2 beds
randomized,
right
and he got a
here.
random person that he didn't really know. Sam normally gravitated towards his, like, one real good friend in the class, but, he's like, all right, well, this is someone new. So anyways,
Yeah.
Sam was like...
It always works, man. I don't know.
Lab partner,
Oh,
and
I have
they went up
food.
there, or Sam went over there and said, hi, my
Do I have to
name's
get
Sam.
food,
The
bruh?
the other person looked up and said, hey,
Darn it.
my name's Sarah. And Sam and
Dude,
Sarah,
I have to get food
immediately got
to
work on the lab,
breathe,
and
bruh.
they
No.
actually hit it off pretty well. Like, things were pretty good. Like, life was pretty great. They, it's not necessarily they had a lot in common right away, but they just had really good chemistry, and it was pretty apparent. And by the end of it, Sam's like, hey, like, I actually had a lot of fun today. Like, we should, like, hang out more. And Sarah agreed. It was always kind of, like, throughout the story, it's not super clear to me if they ever had, like, a kind of a underlying romantic theme, or if it was truly just a platonic relationship.
Like,
have
I need
plenty of
food, actually,
friendships
not lie.
with women
But I don't have
that
any
are
food on me,
just
so yeah.
100% platonic. There's people lie
Yeah,
on the
I don't have any
internet and say
food
that
on
those
me.
can never exist. They can. However, I'm not sure if in this case they
Passing the
Sam
time.
kinda
Whoa,
had
what's
a
the
little thing for
achievement, bro?
Sarah or not, but
What's the
throughout the
achievement?
story they do remain friends
Yeah,
till the
this
very
is-
end, and it's insane. But
I
you
can
don't
go
want to
right
miss
here.
that. Anyway, so Sam and Sarah, outside of this lab class, would start to hang out a little bit.
What is
Like,
the
they still
achievement,
had, like, a
though?
free period or whatever type recess deal. At lunch, Sam would normally sit with his boys, but, he would sometimes be like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with some other friends, and they'd be like, what? And then they see him go sit with a girl, and they're like, ooh, you're sitting with a girl. Typical behavior, even from, like, my friends. And we're 19. It doesn't get better, guys, all I'm saying. But anyways, right, so Sam and Sarah, they started to talk more, and they became pretty close friends. And, it came to the point where Sarah actually invited Sam over to her house for a sleepover. And, I will say, like, a boy-girl sleepover, I have been to one of them. They're pretty cool. But anyways, Sam was like, oh my, like, really? And Sarah's like, yeah, I mean, we're buddies. Like, I've my other buddies over all the time. Doesn't really matter, And, Sarah's like, well, my mom's cool with it. Like, talk to your parents. So anyways, Sam went back home, and, he hit up he didn't hit up his parents. His parents were there. Sam went back home, and he kind of, like, went up to his mom's like, hey, Mom, I got a question for
Hey,
you.
what?
And
Let me even watch this.
He's like, so, I'm friends with
Never
this
mind.
girl, and I really
Stay
am
there.
just friends with
Actually,
her.
I think
Sam's mom's like,
the villagers are multiplying.
yes.
So I'm
She
trying
already
to
knew,
get
like, something's coming up.
some
He's like,
beds.
well,
I don't know.
so basically what
just
happened is
want
that,
to-
she's invited me over to her house for a sleepover, which is I go to sleepovers all the time, and Sam's mom's like, Sam? And Sam's like, no, Mom, I swear, like, I really don't have any feelings for her. She doesn't have any feelings for me. It's just, like, normal. I know it's weird because it's, like, boys and girls, but, Mom, boys and girls can be friends, too. And Sam's mom's like, well, okay, but I trust you on this one. You know, Sam's in 8th grade. Hey, man. And, Sam's like, thank you, Mom. Like, that's great. So the next day, Sam gets into school, and he kind of, like, runs into Sarah. He's like, Sarah, like, I know, I can actually do this. Like, I can come over to your house. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's great. Like, I'm so excited. Do you want to do this weekend? He's like, yeah, no, I don't have anything this weekend. So they planned it for the weekend. Sam's going to go over to Sarah's house. Life is good. Well, life wasn't really good, but Sam didn't see that coming. But the only warning sign he got was that, Sam was...
I'm not speedrunning or anything. Another smoker. Alright? Alright, let's do another job for your another smoker.
And he was saying, like, oh, it's really cool. Like, Sarah and I are actually pretty good friends. I'm actually going over to her house. And one of the boys was like, wait, Sarah, and then says the last name? And Sam's like, yeah. He's like, oh, dude. And Sam's like, dude, what? He's like, I don't really know. Like, I can't tell you anything specific, but I've just heard things. And Sam's like, bro, what do you mean you've heard things? What are the things? And Sam's friend's like, I don't know. I've just heard that she's like, really, like, this isn't meant to be offensive, but she's just like, she's just really, really weird, and something happened, but I didn't actually know. And Sam's like, bro, you can't just say that. You can't just say that and then not actually have an answer. Sam's friend's like, I know, I shouldn't have even brought it up. I don't know. Maybe you want to do some digging, maybe you don't. I don't think it's just like she's weird, like people don't like her weird. I think something like, I don't know, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but bro, just be careful. That's all I'm saying. And Sam was kind of like, all right, well, obviously my friend's is being a hater and is jealous because I don't really spend as much time with them anymore. Because I have more than one friend. You know what? He can't deal with the fact that I have more than one friend. So you know what? That's tough for him. And sure enough, Sam did not heed his friend's warning and kind of paid the price for it later on. And this is probably one of the craziest stories I've ever told on the channel or I've ever received. By the way, submit your own stories to me on Instagram, Connor Pugs, or Discord. Both my links are in the description of this video if you want to submit the stories. Anyways, so Sam packs his bag on that Friday and is super excited, and he's ready for the next day. Saturday comes around and he sends a text to Sarah being like, hey, I'm excited for tonight. She's like, yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff planned. And so anyways, Sam's mom is driving him over, and Sam's mom's like, all right, well, you have my number, and if at any point you want to leave, just let me know. Like, I will bring you back. Don't worry about it. And Sam's like, Mom, it's gonna be fine. Stop worrying, Mom. God, Mom, why are you so... God damn it, Mom. No, okay, but he was like, oh, like, Mom, I'm fine. Like, don't worry about me like that. Yeah, well, his mom had an intuition, and that all of his friends apparently did too, but Sam just couldn't see. So anyways, Sam and his mom pull up to Sarah's house, and the first kind of red flag was that there was no cars in the driveway. And Sam's mom was like, wait, her parents aren't home? And Sam's like, Sam's mom's like, all right, I'm coming with you, and if their parents aren't going to be here, well, then I don't think I can let you stay. Sam's like, oh, jeez. So they walk up, right, and, Sam's mom rings the doorbell, and Sarah greets them at the door. Sam's mom's like, hi, Sarah. I'm Sam's mom. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so glad that my son and you are good friends. Are your parents home? And Sarah's like, no, but they'll be back really soon. And Sam's mom's like, how soon do you think? Sarah's like, yeah, I don't know, like 30, 45 minutes. They just went out to get something. Sorry, I think they're just running a little late. They sent me a text. From an entitled Karen who tries to...
Oh my god, my charger actually not gonna have it. I don't know.
Karen who just does something so insane that she gets banned from the local Walmart. These are the craziest Karens of all time, and I present to you the Karen Story movie. Let's get into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Aiden. So anyways, Aiden was about 17, 18 at the time, and over the summer he got a summer job working at this grocery store. So he didn't really have consistent hours, so sometimes he'd be working in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, and sometimes really late at night. Like, this was one of those grocery stores that was open practically 24 hours a day. I don't know if it was 24 hours, but he worked a very late shift on, when this story started, he was at a very late shift. So this was like
Do I craft many beds here?
11,
I don't know.
12 at night.
Like,
So
I
you
craft
have
many
a few
beds
people
right now. I
come
don't
in
know.
every
Fuck.
like 20 minutes or so, but it really wasn't rush hour, and he was also the only person in the store, which makes this Karen story even more interesting, because this Karen decides to come in and start some problems when it's only Aiden. Remember, this kid's like 17, and she's about to give him the hardest time possible. So
I might get food. I don't know.
as what seemed like a normal night.
Like, these guys
But
gotta
as all
breed
these
for
stories go,
foods.
they do not turn
I
out
don't
to be
know.
normal nights. So anyways,
I didn't
Aiden
plan
was
for this
working
shit,
at
man.
the
I don't
cash
know.
register. He was also in charge of basically anything else going down at the store, because he was the only one there. So if someone needed, like, if something needed to be put back or anything like that, he was in charge, as he was the only one there. But he was mainly manning the cash register at this point. So all of a sudden, at like 12:15, no one else in the store, no one else working there, no one else getting stuff. He hears the door open, so he looks over. He sees this woman come in. This older woman. She looks very angry. She has a look. She just has a look on her face as soon as she walks in. She just has this kind of look that you know that she's going to be trouble. Like, off the bat, you know that she's just going to be difficult. She's going to be a situation from... They know that she's going to be a situation from, like, the moment she walks in the door. That's honestly what it's looking like right now. So Aiden kind of looks at her as she very angrily walks up to his desk, and he's like, all right, what's good? And she comes up and says, I would like to return this item. And she puts an item on his desk. Now, I don't know exactly what this item was, but I do have a description of it. It was beaten up, it was broken, it was heavily used. Aiden didn't even know if they sold it here, and she didn't have a receipt. Yeah, I'm gonna say that again so I can let that sink in. The Karen was trying to return something that was clearly used so often that it's completely lost its functions, whatever it is. It doesn't even look like something that Aiden sold at the store, and she also had no proof that she bought it from the store, aka receipt. So Aiden very calmly tells her, hey ma'am, like, we do have a return policy saying that it has to, like, be in pretty good condition, and you also have to have proof of purchase, and this thing is definitely not in good condition. It doesn't look like you have any proof of purchase, and I don't even know if you're in the right store right now, because I don't think we sell that here. And the Karen gives him this look. This kind of look of like, how dare you question my authority? I'm your elder. You should do exactly what I say, no matter what, type kind of look, right? So yeah, anyways, the Karen is just like, responds to him, I got this from the store, and I have not used it. I only used it once, and it didn't work. I just want my money back. And Aiden's like, can you tell me, like, a description of this item? Because I'm telling you guys, it was so worn out and so used that Aiden couldn't even figure out what this was supposed to be. Like, he didn't even know what to type into the computer to look up to try and figure out what it was, because it was so mangled and messed up and beaten up that he couldn't even tell you what it was supposed to be. Well, like he couldn't even get a good educated guess on it. That's how messed up it was. That's low-key one of the reasons why Aiden wasn't able to tell me what it was, because he genuinely couldn't.
I really want to
figure it
have
out
food,
himself.
but I don't know.
This is when the Karen guy starts to get really mad. She's like, you know, your business is scamming a local citizen by not giving the money, not giving a refund where the refund was clearly stated that you could get one. And Aiden says, yeah, I mean, we do have a refund policy, but it's also pretty clearly stated that you need a receipt to get the refund. And she's like, you know, I just don't have it with me. And Aiden's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but, like, if you have it, like, even if you have it at home, we're gonna need you to, like, go back and get it. Like, I know that's a bit of a trek, but it's his policy. Like, I don't run the store, I just work here. I can't be doing stuff like that. And so, because Aiden was maybe going to be lenient if she had a receipt, and then he could at least type in the item and see if they actually had it. Because, like, Aiden was low-key trying to call her bluff, because he was pretty confident that they did not sell whatever this was supposed to be. But she goes on to say, she just, like, has a mental breakdown. Is like, well, how about you just give me my money, and I'll get a receipt later. Which is, like, the most ridiculous thing ever. I get that she doesn't want to make the drive, but what did that make? Like, here's the thing. Let's say that you didn't want to make the drive. Wouldn't it just make sense for you to be like, you don't need the receipt here, just like, give me a refund, instead of saying, give me the money now, I'll drive back and get the receipt and bring it back to you? Like, that literally makes no sense, bro. So yeah, Aiden kind of puts his foot down a little bit, explains to her, look, without the receipt, I can't even begin the process of trying to give you a refund. Like, not even talking about the state of this item right here, as he kind of motions towards, like, the completely destroyed item, whatever it was. Not even to mention the state of this item. Just, like, very generally, I don't think I can even start to give you a refund for this. So the Karen, something changes in her eyes. Something evil starts to brew behind those cold, dark eyes or whatever. And she's like, so, you've chosen to disrespect me. And he's like, so you've chosen to tarnish your elders. And he's kind of like, bro, what are you saying right now? I genuinely don't know what's going on. So, you have chosen. And he's like, all right, bro. Because he's like, all right, she's going on about something. I don't know what's going on right now, but it's not like I can do anything about it. And she's like, so I'm going to enact citizens' justice. Bro, and not even citizens' arrest, which is the goofiest thing that you only hear Karen say. Citizens' justice. I'm pretty sure that's just called breaking the law. Oh man, I'm just gonna enact my own justice. When has that ever been said and then something good follows it, bro? Like, actually give me a time and a place and I'll believe you, but until I hear it, I don't believe you, bro. So anyways, she turns and she starts walking down one of the aisles.
Alright, we got food, we got everything, and yeah. I think I'm gonna use this one for my pigs, because I don't know.
And sure enough,
Yeah, it's not for you, boy. It's not for you.
Are you gonna give me a refund? Yes or no?
Can I?
And I mean,
feed these?
obviously, he's not gonna give her a refund because
No.
why would he give her a refund at this point? She's
Alright.
giving him no reasons to give him a refund.
Alright, we got food, we got everything. Oh, fuck.
To give him to give her a refund at this point, and he's like, no, I still need to see your receipt to start the process. And then the Karen takes a big, like, okay, so I think it was like, let's just say it's a big rack of vegetable oil. It was a bunch of something, right? She takes a hand and plows through it all. It all falls on the ground, breaks open, vegetable oil is spilling all over the floor. It's going everywhere. And she turns back to Aiden and just stares him down. Aiden is pretty shocked at the moment because he had no idea that the Karen was going to start doing actual damage, right? And she's like, do I get a refund now, little guy? And Aiden is just like, whoa, this is out of my range. This is out of my expertise at this point. This was not in the how to be a cashier training. They did not prepare me for crazy Karens in my training, bro. That's all I'm going to say, is I was not prepared for something like this. So sure enough, he's like, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to leave. And because in his training, I think he was told to, like, if anyone's, like, doing damage or breaking the rules or whatever, you can ask them to leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving before I get my refund. Give me my refund in full, and I'll consider leaving. So not even I'll leave, but I'll consider leaving if you give me exactly what I want. She was probably even going to do a little bit more damage after that, too, bro, if we're being honest. Yeah, but sure enough, he's like, no, like, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. So what the Karen does is she goes on and just, like, destroys something else. Like, I think she finds, like, something glass or something easy to break. She picks it up, boom, smashes it on the ground. Takes another one, lifts it above her head and says, are you going to give me a refund now? And Aiden's like, no. Boom, smashes it on the ground again. Picks up another one. Are you going to give me a refund now? Aiden just looks at her blankly. Boom, smashes on the ground. So you can see the pattern here. The Karen's just trying to destroy the entire place until she gets what she wants, right? So Aiden picks up the phone, dials 911, as you know you should at this point. Someone's breaking all your stuff, and you're 16, 17, whatever, and no one else is there. Can't call for backup, can't call your manager, can't do any of that. So yeah, calls 911 and kind of explains the situation while big smashing and crashing noises are in the background. Okay, the dispatcher says that they'll have people there in 15 minutes, so just make sure the situation doesn't escalate. Which is I don't know, it's a pretty big ask to tell some 15-year-old, hey, I know you're in some crazy situation right now, but make sure that it doesn't escalate. Oh yeah, he'll just go back to his de-escalating a Karen training. You can't train for that, man. You can't de-escalate a Karen once they go full psycho Karen mode, bro. You can't de-escalate them, bro. Anyways, though, yeah, so he's kind of just behind the cash register, watching as this Karen goes around smashing stuff, saying, "Are you gonna give me a refund now, little guy? Boom! You're gonna give me a refund now? Boom!" But all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, I guess 20 minutes later, the doors open up, and the 2 police officers walk in to see the Karen breaking stuff, and to see so much stuff on the ground, spilled, broken, all of the above, right? I mean, you can't really break, splattered, destroyed, whatever you want to call it. Depends on the item. You can't shatter like an apple, but you can't smush it, right? So whatever it is, it's all been kind of destroyed. It's all been kind of wrecked. So the police officers come in, they're like, "What's going on here?" The Karen sees them, turns around, sees a supply closet, or like a broom closet. Okay, when I say sprint, I mean sprint super liberally. I don't mean she's like, I don't know, Usain Bolt doing like a 1 second mile. I'm saying she like power waddles. Yeah, she power waddles to the, to the broom closet, gets in there and locks it behind her, which, why did the broom closet lock from the
Alright,
inside?
so I'm gonna place it in the
Who knows?
bed.
Aiden's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
close to
you
the
can't-
bed,
you gotta
so
be
yeah.
kidding me, man. You gotta be
Go
kidding me."
here in the
So police
bed,
officers, one of them
case.
walks over to look over
Yeah, I'm
at all
not
the
pressing
damage
that
to
shit
make sure
right
the Karen
now.
doesn't escape. The other one goes over to Aiden, sorry, I think Aaron is the name of the last guy in the last Karen story, actually, and asks him, "So can you give me a recap of what happened?" So Aiden goes on to say, "Yeah, so I was just here, she came back with an item, this woman came in with an item, the woman's in the closet right now. It was pretty beaten up, and she didn't have a receipt, and she was demanding a refund, and I basically told her that, well, one, her item was so, like, beat up and destroyed, I couldn't even tell if it came from here or not, but also, second, if she doesn't have a receipt, I can't even start the process to giving her a refund, so without the receipt, I couldn't even give her one." So she got really mad at this and started breaking stuff, demanding a refund, and by the time you guys came, she's like broken about a third of the store's items. Like, this is pretty crazy. I didn't want to intervene though, because I don't know what this woman's capable of, or how deranged she really is. Police officer said, "Okay, son, you did the right thing calling us and trying to keep the situation as calm as possible. We'll take it from here." So they both go up, and actually, like, Aiden stays in the cash register, but this is a fairly small convenience store, so so you can't hear everything that goes on. So they go up to the broom closet, and they're like, "Ma'am, what's the meaning of all this?" And she's like, "That little rapscallion won't give me a refund on my items that I purchased from the store. He is stealing from the elders right now." And they're like, "Ma'am, first of all, he just works here. He can't make the rules. Second of all, it's pretty clearly stated, and there was a legit sign talking about refunds in the store. So it's not like the Karen had no idea at all. It was actually fairly clear, but anyways, they're like, "Ma'am, it's pretty clear from, like, what we're seeing, like," and they point to the sign, "you do need, like, a receipt to get a refund. Like, that's just kind of the deal here." And she's like, "Well, he should have known." Like, I don't know, man. The Karen was just going on about something about how she deserved a refund and how it's so bad that she didn't get one or something. But yeah, I don't even know. And eventually, they're like, "Ma'am, if you don't come here, or it's like, if you don't come out right now, we're gonna go in there and get you for, like," and I don't know, they say something along the lines of that.
Alright, that'll be the end of the episode. I'll do another one, actually. Last one, bro. Last one, because I'm so goddamn piece of shit here. Wait. I don't know what the fuck do I, bro.
Like, it is the weirdest thing ever. The Karen just starts laughing hysterically, like an evil villain in a superhero movie when she's in the closet. And what she's about to say next is one of the craziest things Aiden has ever heard anyone ever say. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Karen down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. I like to see all the people who commented. I'll try and heart as many of those comments as I possibly can. Thank you, guys. Anyways, also, these videos are on Spotify. I'll try to put as many of them as I possibly can. Links in the description. Also, follow my new TikTok, or it's the same TikTok, I guess. I'll be posting my shorts on there as well if you want to help out. And finally, the best way to support the channel is just to binge watch the videos. So at some point, sit down and just watch a bunch of my old story videos, or maybe right after you're done watching this one to the end, you can just keep on watching more videos. I'll have a story time playlist in the pinned comment. That makes it really easy for you guys to watch. And please, 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 if you are binge watching the videos, make sure to comment down below telling me such so I can say thank you personally. Anyways,
I don't want to
let's
mess
get
up
back
that
to
thing,
the
bro.
Crazy Karen story. So anyways, a
No
little
shit.
recap. The
Dude, I
Karen
tried to
ran
dupe
into
some
the
shit,
broom
bro. I don't
supply
know.
closet, right? Because she sees the
I'm not
police
thinking
and
here
she
anymore.
knows she's about to be arrested. Aiden explains the whole situation to the police and explains it like, all right, this is what's going on, this is what's going down. And they're like, okay. They probably got on their walkie-talkie. We're like, we got a code 58, Crazy Karen in a convenience store. I repeat, we got a code 58. I don't know if that's a real code or something, but let's just say for the sake of it, code 58 equals Crazy Karen in convenience store. Typical situation they have to deal with on the daily at this point. But anyways, they go up to the Karen and they basically tell her, look, if you don't come out here and like, we're gonna go into the supply closet. We're gonna open that door if you don't open it yourself. And that's when the Karen starts laughing maniacally, which is one of the most off-putting responses you could have possibly heard. One of the most off-putting responses in general, right? So sure enough, the Karen is just laughing maniacally. And she says, you guys can't arrest me. You can't arrest me. And the police officers are just looking at her. And she says, you wouldn't dare arrest a woman. That is not very gentlemanly of you. So the Karen opens up the door and starts laughing. And the two police officers are just looking at each other. And they look back at the Karen, and then they look at each other, and then they look back at the Karen, and the Karen the Karen repeats herself and says, you guys wouldn't dare arrest a woman, so I'm gonna walk free, unless you want to be bad gentlemen. Bro was really raised in the 1700s or something, bro. I don't know what crossed her mind to think that that's actually what's gonna happen, but that is what's gonna happen, bro. Like, I was like, all right, word. So she walks out there, and the police officers are like, ma'am, you caused all this damage to the store. We are gonna have to at least take you in for questioning. She's like, what? No, you wouldn't dare not be good gentlemen. They just kind of look at each other. And Aiden is just so floored by this response. He's just so... He's trying to figure out what's going on. Aiden's like, is this really her response? Is this really her get out of jail free card moment? Is saying that they wouldn't dare arrest her because she's a woman and they would not disrespect their manlyhood, or I don't freaking know.
Man, last time I did a village, it works, bro. I don't know.
I don't know if that's how
It doesn't work no more, boy.
So they turn her around, they take out the handcuffs, and she says, you wouldn't dare do that. And they both look at each other, and then they put on the handcuffs, and she's like, no, no, arrest him. And they both look at each other, the two police officers looking at each other like, bro, what did she just say? And she's like, arrest that guy behind the cash register, pointing to Aiden, or like motioning to Aiden because she's got her hands behind her back. It's a little hard to point to someone when you're in handcuffs with your hands behind your back.
Well, it's a
like,
failed
why?
villager. I think
like,
they patched
he's
it. I don't know.
robbing me of my refund. They're like, what? She's robbing me of my refund. And they're like, ma'am, first of all, you know what, ma'am? No. Because they were not going to explain it to her for the 100th time of how, like, no, if you want a refund, you got to get your own receipt. And no, if he's not doing it, he just works for it. And they're done explaining it to the Karen. And as the Karen is being walked out, she looks at Aiden and looks at him dead in the eyes and says to him, this isn't over. Mark my words. And that was like one of the most chilling responses Aiden could have ever received. And let me just say, she did not lie. This was not over. And she was definitely not done. Unfortunately for Aiden, she was very much not done. Because she was about to return in the worst way possible. Fast forward, Aiden is still working.
Okay, let me push this
Here,
villager
it's
over
kind of
here.
towards the tail end of
Like,
the summer.
there's no
So,
island golem, so
Aiden's like, this is like his
can't even.
last week,
Yeah, I'm gonna
last
push every
something.
villager.
But
Alright,
basically, he's
like
almost
literally,
done with what he's
there's
doing,
no
right?
jack shit, man.
And he's completely forgotten
Yeah.
about the Karen
Fuck outta
incident.
here.
His manager came
Hey,
the next day
go,
after the
go.
whole Karen incident.
No,
kinda
no,
gave
please,
him
please, boy,
a thank you
please.
for handling the situation well. The shop actually closed down for a couple days to reassess or whatever. They,
Go.
the Karen was like,
I wanna push
fine,
every
X number
fucking
of dollars
villager
to
over
pay
there,
for whatever. She actually did. She's a little surprising, especially for what she's about to do. It's a little surprising she went through with it. She definitely had a change of heart, that's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, after
Like,
about
I don't know
a week,
jack
they got
shit
the
about
place
it,
up
bro.
and running again, and
What the hell you doing,
Aiden was
boy?
made like employee of the month or whatever out of the 3 employees they had. So wow, such an honor, man. But anyways, fast forward like 2 months later, 3 months later, whatever.
Man, Jason is so back, man. I don't know why the fuck Jason's over here, right?
Or second to last week that Aiden's working the shift.
Like, I just wandering
You
village
know,
a little bit.
he
I don't know.
completely forgot about the whole Karen situation. And yeah, he doesn't think much of it. He's kind of at the point where he's like, okay, you know, I'm kind of wrapping things up. The Karen situation's in the back of his head at this point. And that's when he just happens to look out the window. And he just happens to look at a car that's pulling in. And he just happens to notice someone walking out of the car that looked oddly familiar. And he just happened to notice that the person who looked so oddly familiar was carrying a freaking baseball bat, bro. And that's when he realized that the reason why this person looked so familiar was that this was the Karen. Yeah, the Karen that got arrested and tried to destroy the entire store 3 months ago has returned in broad daylight with the frickin' baseball bat, dude. So yeah, immediately Aiden calls 911. Because at this point, you know, the Karen has been told never to return, and if she does, there's going to be trouble. And she's also returning with a baseball bat. So at this point, it just makes a lot of sense for Aiden to get ahead of the situation. So while he's on the phone, you know, he explains, like, this woman has caused damage before. She's appeared in the parking lot with a baseball bat very suspiciously. I just would feel better if someone came, because I can almost guarantee something's about to go down. This is kind of a local police department. So I think the person even literally remembers what happened before. So, yeah, they're like, okay, yeah, we got you with this, don't worry about it. And, yeah, sure enough, the police are coming, but the police, it's gonna take like 15-20 minutes. So Aiden's a little nervous right now, but there's another cashier there, he's not the only one at the store at the moment. So he yells at them, says, hey, we got trouble. Person comes up, he's like, oh my god, who's that? And Aiden looks at him and says, you know that Karen I was telling you about that one night? And the guy that Aiden's working with looks at him in a look of disbelief, like no way that's the same person. And Aiden has to break the bad news that yes, that is the same person, and that person is coming at them with a baseball bat. Yeah, not looking good for both of them right now. So anyways, right, you know, they're both like, okay, what is she gonna do? And the Karen makes eye contact with Aiden. Aiden makes eye contact with the Karen. And the Karen starts bursting out into laughter as she approaches the place with a baseball bat. Yeah, not looking really good right now. So she starts walking towards them with a baseball bat. And goes up, like, opens up the door window and says, not the door window, opens up the door. And Aiden is staring at her. And the other person Aiden is working with has frozen as well. And is just staring at her as well. And they're just looking at her. And she's just looking at them. And she has this big grin on her face. And let me just say that they do not have the same grin on their faces. To say the least, they do not have the same look of excitement and joy that the Karen is with them. They are not equally as happy that this is the case. Yeah, so they're all just making eye contact with the crazy deranged Karen who's standing in the door with a baseball bat right now. And she's looking at them. And she says, you didn't think I'd be back. I told you. You should have given me that refund all that time ago, and now I'm taking my revenge. And immediately, she turns to one of the windows, boom, hits it with the baseball bat, the window shatters. At this point, Aiden's real scared, understandably, because look, when the Karen was destroying stuff in the store, he was really afraid that it was going to get out of control, but at that point, she was really just breaking stuff.
I'm so confused here. Oh,
Like, he really thought, okay, if the Karen comes swinging for me or something like that, it really wouldn't be that big of an issue because, like, I don't know, like, I'm not too scared. But now the Karen's coming in with an actual baseball bat. Like, that's kind of just a different story right there, bro. That's low-key just a different story. Like, if she swung at him and made contact...
Okay, it's gonna be a last chance, bro. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Like, I don't care if she doesn't have the strongest swing. I don't care if she's not, like, in the you, I don't care if she doesn't bench press 325, bro. It doesn't matter. She still has a baseball bat. That's a weapon right there. So Aiden kind of like backs up. He makes sure to keep his distance with the Karen, and him and his like co-worker are trying to keep their distance, right? And they're just waiting on the police to come. So the Karen is yelling at them, should have given me my discount, should have given me my discount, while slamming the bat into windows.
Yeah, this is a long episode, no lie. Like, I don't care at this point, I'm tired as fuck, I know.
Cash register with her baseball bat, boom, thing explodes, $10 bills fly everywhere. And then she starts going into the aisles, boom, boom, starts whacking stuff, and that's when the police officers get there. So the police officers get there, they're alerted about the Karen, and I think one of them was actually there last time. So they know about the Karen. And they see her swinging around a full-fledged freaking baseball bat. So they're definitely on edge at this point. And they're just like, freeze! And the Karen turns around, looking all deranged and crazy, with an actual baseball bat, right? She has a baseball bat out, that's pretty bad. So they're looking at her, and she looks at them, and she says, make me. Which was probably one of the worst responses that you could have given to two police officers when you're holding a baseball bat. Because one of them does make her. Pulls out the taser, which, I mean, look, you got someone swinging around a baseball bat. I'm not going in to sit down to have a polite conversation either. I get where he's coming from. Taser, zaps her, immediately goes to the ground. I mean, this Karen isn't like some kind of like Iron Man, like, and he was hit with 2 bullets, and he stood there unfazed, like cue whatever music. No. You know, I mean, if you're hit with a taser, you're going down, bro. So yeah, Karen collapses, baseball bat goes on the ground. One of the police officers rushes over to like separate her.
Come on, man.
Bat, puts her in handcuffs.
Come on,
checks her to
man.
make sure she doesn't have like any other weapons or something like that. She does not. The other police officer goes over to, once making sure that the Karen is like contained or whatever, goes over to Aiden and his co-workers, asks, hey, are you good? Did she hit you with a bat? Are there any damages to you or whatever? You guys good?
Yeah, this test fails, bruh. Like, I have to remove these stuff right here and just trying to do it, but I don't know. It doesn't work.
That was here like 3 months ago. And
I think these villagers flop, man. These villagers flop, man. Villagers are dumb. Son of a bitch.
You know, he says, have you seen her over the last like 2 or 3 months or however long ago it was? And he says, no, like I have legitimately not seen her since.
I can't have a villager in my house because I'm
that, like, she was charged
just strays,
for all
you know.
the damages she did. She paid it through, so we kind of thought that we'd never see her again, but I guess not. So yeah, the police like take her away. Obviously this was a lot more serious. I don't know exactly what the charges were, as I wasn't told exactly. Because remember, this convenience store wasn't some big chain. It was like a mom and pop type location. So they were actually able, through insurance or whatever, somehow they got the money back. They had to close down again for a second because now there's broken glass and windows and destroyed stuff. And yeah, the Karen was now very, very much, she was in bigger trouble. I don't know exactly what. I would assume that she served some jail time for that. I doubt she got off on like the second time, because like that time she was swinging on them with a bat. Like that's some serious stuff you're doing right there. And let's call the subscriber who submitted this story Brian. Real quick, I made a Twitter
I might remove these stuff, like trying to breed, but I don't know. I just lured the villagers here and just trying to want to breed it. I'll do that next time, but I'm not getting anything for this villagers, bro. I'm not getting anything, bro. Son of a bitch.
He married this girl named Kate. And they started dating, you know, a while ago. And when they started dating, Brian's mom was not a fan of Kate. And the thing was, Kate didn't have like a troubled background, or she didn't have an extreme personality or anything. Kate was like the most standard like girl ever. Like imagine like your mom's perfect idea for someone to marry. That was basically Kate. To this day, Brian still has no idea why like his mom really hated Kate, but Brian's mom despised Kate from the first day that, you know, she came over. The first day that she came over, you know, Brian was introducing, you know, Kate to his family, and, you know, Brian's mom was just, like, really cruel to her at the dinner table. Like, she was asking really weird questions, like, they were in college at that time. She's like, oh, what's your GPA? And when she said something that was pretty good, she's like, huh, I did better in school. Like, what's your major? And Kate said her major, and she's like, so you're just going to college for fun, huh? So anyways, right, Brian's mom has never been a fan of Kate for a very long time. However, that doesn't matter because Brian himself has been a fan of Kate for a while. By the way, you can listen to all of these stories on Spotify. It's Connor Pugs. It's also in the description. Please rate it 5 stars. Anyway, so Brian continued to date Kate, and Kate and Brian decided that they were going to be kind of like lifetime partners. And Brian called up his parents before.
Yeah, I gave you all my food. Didn't do shit. Oh my god, man. I don't have Grox level, bro. You have Grox level, man. My god.
Brian's dad was happy for Brian. Said, hey, but that's so great. I'm so excited for you. But Brian.
Fuck that shit, man. I don't know shit.
It just wasn't going to go that well. So Brian calls up his mom, and he explains that he's going to marry Kate. And Brian's mom's like, Brian, this is a great mistake. I'm telling you. I just have a gut feeling that she's terrible for you and she's gonna cause ruin. Look, I've spoken on this channel a lot about trust your gut instincts, it's a good idea, but don't always do that. Sometimes you have preconceived notions about people or biases that just are really not rooted in reality, and so trust your gut most of the times, but in this case, this is not a time to. And Brian says, Mom, I've been in a relationship with this girl for 4 years now. We've gone through ups and downs, and I am now at this point very confident I want to marry her. And, Brian's mom's like, I won't allow it. And, Brian's family wasn't some crazy traditional family or anything where it's oh, your parents must say yes or it can't happen. So Brian was like, okay, I'm sorry you don't like it. I'm just telling you because I have respect for you, and I want you to know what's going to happen, and I want you to be in my life. And Brian's mom's like, fine, I understand I can't do anything about it, but just so you know, I'm not going to be much nicer to her now that she's your wife or fiance. And Brian's like, okay, well, I'd like you to, but I guess I can't control you either. So Brian hung up pretty angrily, but the rest of the day was pretty good because he eventually, proposed to Kate, and, life was seeming pretty good. They started planning their wedding, and, Brian is like, maybe we have a small wedding without my mother. And Kate's like, Brian, I know your mother hates me, but I need, I know that you'll want her there. I know that we'll want everyone who we love to be at our wedding. Brian's like, okay, just want to say, can't say I didn't warn you on this one. She's like, yes, I know. It's going to be something. It's going to be very hard. I am aware, but, we need to invite her. So Brian eventually called up his mother and was like, hey, Mom, I just want to let you know, the wedding, you're formally invited. It's going to be on these dates. And Brian's mom is like, fine, I guess I'll show up. And Brian in his head is like, dude, I didn't even want to invite you because I knew that you were going to have crazy attitude problems. But Kate is insistent, and, she makes a good point, and, she's always right, so fine. And he's like, okay, well, here's the dates, show up if you want. And Brian's mom's like, fine, I'll find room in my busy schedule. Dude, this is your own son's wedding. Your busy schedule will revolve around this, or it should at least. So anyways, let's skip ahead to the couple days of the wedding. So if you don't know, there's
hey, last time there's workers and I got villagers, and yeah, I got a lot of villagers, and everything's villagers are shit, man. I've never seen a single Gordon.
Get together at some restaurant or some place, and they'll all sit around a table and eat dinner. And it's not I don't know if it's official part of every wedding ceremony, but anyways, Brian and Kate decided to have this, and so anyways, they picked a spot that was a restaurant that was close to the.
Give you food. You didn't do shit, man.
All the guests were funneling in. They had their
damn
assigned
it,
seats,
bro! I'll
and
abandon you
everyone
guys.
got
Jesus
there,
Christ.
except Brian's mom, and Brian was kind of confused on what was happening, and that's when this was the first instance. What am I trying to say? This is the first example of Brian's mom being a crazy Karen. Because what happens, right, is Brian realizes, oh, the seat where my mom has reserved for her is empty. I wonder where she is. And that's when Brian hears a noise, a chant, Brian and Kate can't get married. Brian and Kate shouldn't be married. Brian and Kate can't get married. Brian and Kate
Son of a
be married."
bitch.
On like that,
Mother-
from like the hallway. And Brian is like, what? He's just so confused because he's like, who's chanting that like me and my soon-to-be wife can't and shouldn't be married? This is ridiculous. And that's when Brian's mother like marches into the room with a poster board with a photo of like it's a photo of Brian and Kate like expanded so it's big and printed out with a big X through it and it says cancel the marriage on the top and cancel the marriage on the bottom. And she starts walking around chanting, Brian and Kate can't be married, Brian and Kate shouldn't be married, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage. And starts like hopping around like a giddy schoolgirl, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage. At this point, right, all the guests are kind of like, oh my god, let's go. They're all kind of like mumbling like about each other. And that's when, Brian is like, Mom, he stands up. He's like, what is this? And Brian's mom's like, oh, Brian, sweetie, I'm here as your mother, and I'm doing my duty as the mother.
Alright, let's go to my base and the experiment fails, boy.
Brian's like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, this is insane. And she's like,
Experiment fails, man. I tried, bro. But no, it doesn't work, bro. That's how it works. Like, I have a lot of villagers, man.
Mom, stop. Like,
Jesus Christ,
I
man.
invited you here
Like,
because
these
this is
cows
our
like
big
villagers,
day.
but
I
no.
wanted you to be a
But
part
no,
of it.
they don't
Like,
fucking
I
do
invited
anything,
you to
bro.
dinner so that we could have a
This is
nice
bullshit, man.
conversation, and maybe you and Kate can reconcile your differences. And Brian's mom's like, oh, that's never gonna happen. Cancel the marriage. Cancel the marriage. Cancel the marriage. Cancel the marriage. And Brian's like, oh my god. So he walks over and he's like, Mom, if you're not gonna eat dinner with us, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And she's like, you're kicking out your own mother from the dinner before the wedding? From the rehearsal dinner? You would do that? And Brian's like, well, yes, if you continue walking around with a poster board with an X through me and my fiance's face screaming, cancel the marriage. Brian and Kate can't be married. Brian and Kate shouldn't be married. Like, Mom, what? That chant isn't even that good. What's going on here? At this point, right, she's like, fine, I'm going to go protest outside. So Brian's Karen mom starts walking out being like, cancel the marriage, cancel the marriage. Brian and Kate can't be married. Brian and Kate shouldn't be married. And they're like legitimately like, she stands outside of the restaurant and you can hear faintly, because everyone's super quiet after she leaves for like a minute, and you can hear very faintly, Brian and Kate can't be married. Brian and Kate can't be married. Cancel the wedding. Cancel the wedding. At this point, Brian kind of like stands up and is like, hey guys, I'm sorry for that. Like, my mom's a little crazy. Like, ha ha ha. Everyone kind of laughs a little bit, both because it was kind of a funny situation, but mostly because it was an incredibly awkward situation. They're all like, yeah, I remember when that happened at my wedding. Not. So anyways, Brian sat down, and Brian and Kate and some other very close family members near them discussed the wedding tomorrow. And Brian's like, oh my god, I can't believe my mother's doing this. I was on the fence of inviting her, and Kate's like, I'm so sorry for making you do that. And Brian's like, no. You have really good intentions. You wanted all the people we love to be here, and you did what was right. He said, now we just gotta make sure that, the wedding goes off without a hitch. And let me just say that was not the case. In fact, that Karen was about to pull off one of the craziest heists in Karen history, believe it or not. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Karen down below. I'm going to try and heart a bunch of comments to say Karen. I'm just curious to see the names and faces of people who made it this far. Also, if you want to continue supporting the channel or to help boost me in the algorithms, right, of YouTube, all you got to do is just keep on watching these videos after this one, or maybe the later point of the day. Just keep watching the videos. It really does help. Lots of watch time helps the channel. And please let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm going for pork now.
How many videos you watched or are planning to watch today? And then also, what are you doing while watching the videos? For example, some people have been telling me that watching my videos helps them go to sleep. And honestly, sleep's a hard thing. It's an important thing, so I'm honored that I can help you do that. And by the way, just a few things. If you want to like submit your own stories, go to my Instagram at Connor Pugs. That's where you can DM me the stories. Please follow the new Twitter account. I'd love to get 1,000 followers in a day, and that's one of the best ways I can talk to you guys. Join the Discord server, and also make sure that if you want to listen on Spotify, that you do, and rate me 5 stars on there. Follow, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. And I think that's all the plugging I have to do. Leave a like in the video for your free nothing. I'm bringing that back. And let's just get back to the stories, guys. Also, code ConnorPugs 10% off gamer subs. Please buy it. It's helping you out and helping me out. Anyway, so Brian and Kate are kind of worried. And they go to bed, and they're in the same bed, and Kate kind of like rolls over, just like Brian, like, I'm worried about your mom. Brian's like, me too. And he says, you know what? This is our day. For the next 24 hours, let's make sure that we remember that this is our day. This is not my mom's day. This is not Uncle Joe's day. This is not your day or my day. It is our day. Let's make sure that everyone knows that, no matter what my mom does. And Brian says, hey, you know the security guards we hired? I'm going to tell them that my mom does anything crazy or tries to run on stage and punch you in the face. And Kate kind of gets nervous. He's like, I don't think she's actually going to do that. But if she does, they'll make sure that she's banned, that they'll take care of it. They'll ban her from the wedding. And you don't even have to worry about it. And Kate felt a little bit more reassured, and they went to bed. The next day, they wake up, and it's their wedding day. It's huge. It's stressful. It's awesome.
You ought to go out, just go for it. I don't know.
The life and emotion that
Yeah.
it encapsulates.
I think Max is a free man. Yep, Max is kind of a resident here.
All these people
and Henry.
Around, the bridesmaids, the hair,
like, I'm trying a village farm, but it doesn't even work. Man, last time it worked, they patched it up is bullshit, man. Like, I can't do villagers now, man. It's impossible, bro. How the fuck does that work no more, bro? That is bullshit, man. Like, I gave them food. It doesn't work giving beds. Son of a bitch. Oh my god, it's not even multiplying, bro. I need a lot of villagers, man. Jesus Christ.
And then when we came here this morning, we opened it up, and the wedding ring.
Like, oh my god, Snowy Biomes is a bull. Villagers are so dumb. Like, they have a different race, right? So yeah,
I don't know what happened. The wedding rings are gone. Sorry, just took a sip of water so my voice doesn't explode. He's like, what do you mean the rings are gone? He's like, dude, I don't know. I came here this morning. They were still here. But I checked in 10 minutes ago, and they're gone. They're gone, Brian. So Brian's like, all right, check the security camera footage. And so anyways, Brian calls up one of the people who work there, one of the staff, and they're like, hey, the rings just got stolen. We need to check the cameras. And they're like, oh my god, 100%, like right away. And they had about an hour before the wedding, so there's a little bit of buffer time, but Brian...
Yeah, this motherfucker want to get away here, bro.
...was going to tell Kate, during this time of massive stress for her, right before the wedding, right, he was not going to tell her that the rings had been stolen. That is just simply...
Holy shit, man.
The security guard and the guy who came over to tell him that the rings were gone, they all rushed over, to the, the place where they have the footage, and they look at it, and Brian, in his head, he thinks that there's a chance that it was, like, someone stealing from them. He thinks that there's a chance that, I don't know, like, that someone was, like, I don't know, trying to steal the rings. But Brian knew deep down it was his mother trying to sabotage the wedding, as she tried to do last night. And sure enough, you see the security
I'm thinking of something, bro. I always do this in Minecraft, bro. I don't know. Yeah, boy. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh my god, bro.
He's like, alright, find my mom. And his mom was sitting in, like, the lunchroom. She got her buffet lunch, and she was sitting alone at the table. Because after last night's charade of, like, the Brian and Kate shouldn't be married, cancel the wedding, cancel. After that whole nonsense, right, not a lot of the, the people at the party, at the wedding, really wanted to be friends with her or wanted to get to know her story. They just didn't feel like, they didn't want to spend the energy on that. So she was sitting alone. And, sure enough, Brian goes up to her and says, hey, Mom, is there anything you want to tell me by chance? Like, anything you want me to know? And Brian's mom's like, no, I'm just sitting here, and I want to say the food's very nice. I just wanted to say that. I like the food a lot. And Brian just looks at her. And he's just like, Mom, I know what you did. She's like, what? What did I do?
Alright, that's gonna be enough, and yeah. Let's end the video. I don't know. Trying to. And
how could you steal the wedding rings on the day of the wedding? Like, that's insane. And she's like, I'm doing all of this for you. You can't see it. You don't understand that witch has put a spell on you. And she's gonna take all your money and your organs and sell them on the black market.
yeah. That'll be the site, and peace out. Because I tried Villers, it doesn't work, so peace.